Ethan Clark, a 42-year-old self-made millionaire known for his sharp mind and quiet generosity, was driving home late one evening when his car took a detour due to roadwork. As the sleek black sedan rolled through a neglected part of town, he noticed the faint flicker of a small fire behind a pile of discarded furniture. Curious and uneasy, he parked and stepped out, the chill of night air brushing against his tailored gray coat. The faint sound of a child coughing drew him closer. Behind the debris, he saw a young woman no older than 30, wrapped in a worn blanket, holding a small boy close to her chest. Her brown hair was messy from the cold wind, and her eyes widened in shock when she recognized him, her employer. The woman's name was Lily, his housemaid for almost a year, but tonight she looked nothing like the calm, composed worker he knew. Her hands trembled as she tried to hide the boy behind her, as if ashamed. "Mr. Clark, I didn't think you'd ever see me like this," she whispered. The boy, around 5 years old, clung to her, his small face pale and streaked with dirt. Ethan crouched down, removing his gloves, his expression softening. "Lily, what happened?" he asked gently, his deep voice cutting through the silence. The cold air made his breath visible, the streetlight above flickering dimly as if echoing the fragility of the moment. Lily hesitated, tears pooling in her tired eyes. She explained that her landlord had evicted her after she fell behind on rent. She'd been too ashamed to ask for help, thinking she could manage on her own until her savings ran out. "I didn't want anyone to know, especially you," she said quietly, looking away. Ethan felt a pang of guilt. He realized he never asked his staff about their lives beyond work. He noticed the boy's thin jacket and the way he tried to suppress shivers. Without a word, Ethan took off his own coat and wrapped it around the child, feeling a lump rise in his throat as the boy whispered, "Thank you, mister." Ethan's heart ached as he looked around the dump, broken furniture, rusted metal, scraps of fabric fluttering in the wind. How could someone who worked in his mansion end up here, unseen and forgotten? "You're coming with me," he said firmly. Lily's eyes widened in protest, but he didn't wait for her to argue. He gently lifted the boy into his arms, feeling how light he was, and opened the car door for Lily. The warmth inside the vehicle felt surreal after the biting cold outside. Lily sat in silence, holding her son close, while Ethan drove through the quiet streets, his mind racing with anger at the world and guilt at himself. When they arrived at his home, Ethan led them inside through the side entrance, not wanting to alarm the staff. The marble floors and soft lighting felt painfully out of place now that he'd seen where Lily had spent her night. He guided them to the guest suite, adjusting the thermostat to warm the air. Lily stood frozen at the doorway, tears silently falling as her son stared in awe at the soft bed and bright lights. "You'll stay here tonight?" Ethan said gently. "No arguments." Lily nodded slowly, her lips trembling with both gratitude and shame. "I don't deserve this kindness," she murmured, but he shook his head firmly. After ensuring they were settled, Ethan sat in his study, unable to concentrate on the files before him. The image of the little boy shivering in the cold kept replaying in his mind. He wondered how many people working under him faced silent battles he never noticed. For years he had prided himself on being a fair employer, but tonight showed him how detached he'd become from the human side of his success. When he heard soft footsteps, he looked up to see Lily standing hesitantly by the door, her hands clasped nervously. "I wanted to say thank you," she said softly. "You saved us tonight?" Ethan stood and offered her a seat, but Lily shook her head. "I just didn't know where else to go. I tried so hard to give my son a good life after his father left us." Her voice cracked, but she quickly wiped her tears. Ethan's expression darkened slightly, not out of judgment, but empathy. "You don't owe me an explanation, Lily," he said. "You've done more than enough by keeping this house running." She looked up, surprised at the sincerity in his tone. For the first time, she saw not her employer, but a man who genuinely cared. As dawn began to break, the golden light filtered through the curtains, bathing the room in warmth. Ethan brewed coffee for them both, something he hadn't done for anyone in years. Lily's son, now awake and freshly bathed, ran into the kitchen wearing one of Ethan's oversized shirts. "Mom, this house smells nice," the boy said cheerfully, making Lily smile for the first time in days. Ethan watched them quietly, feeling something stir in his chest, a mix of protectiveness and admiration. He realized that what he had found in that dump wasn't just a tragedy. It was a reminder of what really mattered. Later that week, Ethan met with his financial advisor and made arrangements to help Lily permanently. He offered her a new position, not as a maid, but as the manager of a small community project he was funding to support single parents in crisis. When he told her, she froze, her eyes wide with disbelief. "I can't accept that, sir," she said. "You can," he replied firmly, "because you've shown more strength and dignity than most people I've ever met." Her son ran up to him then and hugged his leg, whispering, "Thank you for helping my mom." Ethan smiled, kneeling down to ruffle the boy's hair. Months later, the community center opened, and Lily stood beside Ethan at the ribbon-cutting ceremony, her son holding her hand proudly. She wore a simple cream dress, her hair neatly tied back, eyes shining with new confidence. Ethan looked at her, knowing that their paths had crossed for a reason far beyond employment. What he learned that night in the dump changed him forever. Wealth, he realized, wasn't measured by money, but by compassion. As the applause filled the air and the sunlight gleamed on the new sign, Ethan felt his heart lighter than it had been in years, silently grateful for the night that broke his heart and mended it all the same. That evening, after the opening ceremony, Ethan lingered in the quiet hall of the new community center. The noise of the crowd had faded, leaving behind only the soft hum of distant traffic and the faint laughter of children playing outside. Lily approached him slowly, her son holding a small paper flower he had made during one of the activities. She looked different now, confident, radiant, no longer the frightened woman he'd found shivering in the cold. Her posture was straight, her smile genuine. "You changed everything for us," she said softly, emotion filling her voice. Ethan shook his head. "No, Lily, you changed everything for me." The boy handed him the paper flower, and Ethan accepted it carefully. His chest tightening with an applause filled the air, and the sunlight gleamed on the new sign. Ethan felt his heart lighter than it had been in years, silently grateful for the night that broke his heart and mended it all the same. As they stood there in the warm glow of the fading sun, the air between them felt peaceful, yet full of unspoken meaning. Lily's son ran around joyfully, laughing as his paper flower fluttered in his hand. Ethan watched him, a quiet smile touching his lips. He couldn't remember the last time he had felt so grounded, so human. "You know," Lily began gently, "when you found us that night, I thought it was the worst moment of my life. But maybe it was a new beginning." Ethan turned to her, his expression thoughtful. "Sometimes life breaks us so we can see what truly matters," he said. Lily nodded, her eyes glistening, not with sadness but gratitude. The golden light outside grew softer, reflecting off the polished floors and the bright murals painted by volunteers. In that moment, surrounded by warmth and renewal, Ethan realized that helping one person had given his life a deeper purpose than all his success ever had. As the evening settled, Ethan offered to walk Lily and her son home. The streets were calm, washed in the gentle hues of twilight. Street lamps flickered on, casting a soft amber glow on the quiet neighborhood. Lily held her son's hand, the boy chattering happily about his new friends at the center. Ethan listened, occasionally smiling, his steps unhurried for once. He noticed how peaceful Lily looked, her once worried face now serene, illuminated by the fading sunlight. "You're building something beautiful, Ethan," she said quietly. He looked at her, slightly surprised. "You mean the center?" She shook her head, smiling. "No, I mean a future, for people like us who lost hope." Her words struck him deeply, more than she knew. The cool evening breeze carried the faint scent of blooming flowers, blending with the quiet hum of life returning to places once forgotten. And for the first time in years, Ethan felt whole. When they reached Lily's modest new apartment, Ethan paused by the doorway as the boy ran inside, excitedly showing his mother the small plant he'd been growing. Lily turned to face him, her expression soft but full of emotion. "I don't know how to ever thank you properly," she said. Ethan shook his head, his voice calm and sincere. "You already have. You showed me that money means nothing if it can't make someone's life better." She smiled, lowering her gaze for a moment. her hair falling gently across her face. The warm light from the hallway illuminated them both, casting a golden hue that felt comforting rather than grand. Behind them, the faint sound of the boy humming echoed through the small space, a melody of contentment. Ethan felt something shift inside him. Not pity or pride, but genuine connection. The kind that reminds a person why kindness matters. As Ethan stepped back into the cool night air, he looked up at the sky, a vast stretch of deep blue sprinkled with faint stars. The world felt different now, quieter but more meaningful. He glanced once more at the apartment window, where soft light glowed behind the curtain, and saw Lily helping her son into bed. A peaceful smile touched his lips. He knew this wasn't the end of their story. It was the beginning of something far greater than he had ever planned. Walking toward his car, he felt no weight of wealth or status, only the quiet satisfaction of having done something that truly mattered. The city lights shimmered in the distance, and for the first time in years, Ethan's heart felt light, full of purpose. He whispered to himself, "Sometimes you don't find miracles, sometimes you become one." And with that thought, he drove away, the night calm and clear, carrying the warmth of two lives forever changed.